Hello! Did you know the Zoom L6 mixer can be a sort of glitchy slicer or effects mangling box? Through the power of MIDI, all things are possible. Not all things, but some things. Okay, a few things are possible. But first, yes, I'm well aware the L6 Max has been announced, and I'd love to check one out, but I'm still happy enough with my regular old L6 for now. But Zoom, if you're watching, I'd happily do a comparison of the two units if I can get a hold of the Max anytime soon. Moving right along, in past videos, I've looked at what I don't like about the L6, some workarounds, as well as what you can do with the sound pads, but today is all about MIDI, specifically the MIDI in connection to control the L6 itself. The fact that the L6 has MIDI in and out was part of what interested me in the first place when I bought one, but you can't quite do as much with it as I'd have hoped. No transport control, for example. However, you can control just about all the parameters of each of the individual channels. And if you happen to have a sequencer like the Deluge or an Electron box, etc., that means you can automate those parameters and make things come to life in interesting hands-free ways. To start, I've got the audio output from the Deluge going into channel 6 on the L6, and the Deluge MIDI out is connected to the MIDI in on the L6 via this Type A MIDI dongle. Now we can take a look at the L6 editor to see what parameters we can control via MIDI CCs and also change those assignments if we want. You can see in the editor that we can control things like channel levels, panning, the EQ, including the mid frequency, which could be fun, as well as the sends and a few other things. As a simple example, I've got a synth in the Deluge set to play an A minor chord, and now I'll create an empty MIDI clip, which is set to channel 1, the same as the L6, but you could change this to whatever you want in the editor. And now we can start by automating the level of channel 6 in the Zoom, which is where our audio is going through. And in that case, it is CC88. To do so, I'll press clip again to pop into automation view on the Deluge, and then scroll to CC88. And here we can automate some value changes to the parameter and change the level control over here. I won't get too descriptive about automation view in this video, as this is more about the Zoom L6 MIDI parameters, and you may have another sequencer that's not the Deluge. Suffice it to say, automation view is a community firmware feature that lets you use the grid to control various parameters, whether for sound design or MIDI, like what we're doing today. Prior to this feature, you could do what I'm going to do, probably by just recording the knob movements. So here's a fade up to show what I mean. And that's pretty stark, so let's make it a bit longer and actually not start from total 0. And there you go. So now you've got an up-down fade for this synth we've got, and if you see the lights moving in the L6 channel 6 there, that's how it's happening. It's almost like I'm turning the knob. Let's have a bit of fun. Let's make it a bit more rhythmic. So I'll go, let's see, halfway through here. Let's see, let's make it even more. So there you go. Now you've got a bit more of a rhythmic kind of pattern happening, created by automating the level of your channel here. You can see the lights going crazy when it blinks in and out like that. So to recap, we've got the Deluge audio running into the L6, and we're automating the level of the channel we've got in the L6 via MIDI from the Deluge to cause this glitchy slicing effect. Of course, if you've got something like the Deluge, you can do all of that to the audio already without needing to automate anything in the L6, just by automating parameters in the Deluge itself. But where this comes in handy is with gear that doesn't have MIDI control, like this little neglected Korg Monotron, for example. We can run it through channel 3 on the L6, then do some similar automation of parameters for that channel via MIDI, and add some variety that you wouldn't otherwise get with this unit. For starters, let's get some self-oscillation going so that it makes noise on its own. There we go. Now, let's automate the pan parameter as well as its volume like we did the last clip. So to do that, we need the CC numbers for channel 3 now instead. I've got my trusty cheat sheet printed out here, so let me consult that. So in this case, what we're looking for in terms of pan is, I believe, I just looked at it, I don't know why I have to look again, but pan would be 75. Let's see. Now, if you have headphones on or are listening in a stereo setup, you should hear that self-oscillation changing sides. And naturally, we can automate that. So let's go kind of up and down a little bit. And once again, you can see, we can make this a bit more drastic. Now you can see the pan changing on the L6. We can do the same with level, and I believe that one is 85 is what we need there for channel 3. And again, you can change these CC parameters to be whatever you need. In this case, I've left it kind of stock. And we can do the same thing we had our other clip doing, but kind of in reverse. Let's do a bit of a ramp down. And we can add, you know, a bit of like glitchy on and off to this. There you go. Now we can bring our Deluge back in. Let's see how they sound together. Fingers crossed. There you go, kind of getting a bit of a seasick slicer vibe going here. And now maybe you're saying, but Bay Mud, you could just run the Monotron through an audio clip on the Deluge and do all that without the L6 at all. And you'd be right, but also a buzzkill. So take a long look in the mirror and decide what you want in life. Seriously though, remember, this is just a simple example. We could fill every channel in the L6 with different audio sources and use the Deluge or whatever MIDI capable sequencer you've got to make them all glitch out in fun ways. Case in point, we've now got the Monotron in channel 3 and this Soma Rumble of Ancient Times I literally just picked up right before this video, more to come on this down the road, in channel 4, with both channels being modulated in different ways via MIDI from the Deluge, which is still also in channel 6, modulating that channel as well. So let's get the Rumble of Ancient Times in on the fun. I'll set the drones so I don't have to touch them. I don't know how to use this thing at all yet. I'm just going to press the chaos button and hope for the best. Sure. Now we'll do some automation of channel 4. Trusty cheat sheet here. Let's see. So in this case, let's say I want to automate volume again for fun. Why not? But maybe we can do something with the EQ as well, like the mid frequency or the mid level itself. So channel 4's mid level would be CC24. So let's go there. Okay. I'll turn off the Monotron for now. Actually, and the Deluge. We can just mute that track. And now we've got our mid-level amount here. Let's just give it a sweep. So now the mids of the Rumble of Ancient Times are coming up and down. We can also affect automation to the mid frequency as per my handy cheat sheet here. So mid frequency for channel 4 is CC number 14. So let's go there. Now actually I'll go here and you can see what I'm doing. So this is the mid frequency for channel 4, and we can, let's say, have this go up and down a bunch. And that will depend on, let's see, our mid-level. I think we had it going down. can just put some random hits in there to make things a bit more interesting, maybe. Okay, so we're only automating the mid frequency there. So there's mid frequency and there's the mid level as well. To add to the madness, we can also automate the effects sends for the channels to the Zoom's internal effects. So let's get some of that going now. It's currently set to, let's set it to Hall Reverb. Effects return is all the way up. And let's consult our cheat sheet. So channel 4 for the Rumble of Ancient Times, the effects send would be CC 66 and 68 for channel 6 and 63 for channel 3. Okay, so 66. Let's give our Rumble of Ancient Times some reverb. Let's go from nothing to full. So here we go. There you go. That's kind of fun. And then 67, I believe, was channel 6. Oh, 68 is what I need. Sorry, for channel 6. We don't have channel 6 playing, so let's get our Deluge back in. 68. Let's kind of do it in the middle. And now we'll get our Monotron back in the mix, and that was 63, if I recall. Let's start strong there. Okay. So, oh, that's for my vocal. Okay. Undo that one. No reverb on the vocal. I've got to go 1 over, 2 over, 65 is what we need. Okay, there we go. So now we've got reverb send level being automated for all 3 of these units. And as you heard by that little mistake, I could do it live from my vocal as well if I wanted to, back at number 63 here. I could just put it a little bit, so we don't need a lot on my vocal, but there, you hear some now. But we can make this madness a little more interesting by automating the effects type of the internal Zoom effects. So we can go from Hall through the reverb types down to delay or echo. And the way it is divided seems to be evenly across the knob modulation. So every 25 ticks in the value or so is a different effect type. So 0 to 25 is Hall, 26 to 50 is Room, etc. So we can do that via, let's see, cheat sheet, CC 117. So let's see. So we've got our 3 things going here. Right now we're on Hall, as you see, but take a look at that light for the effects as I do this. See how it's changing? So Hall will be the bottom levels here, then it'll go to Room, Spring, Delay, and Echo. So we can do the same thing we've been doing. So now it's going to ramp through all the effects types. We could have it go back up. So there you go. It's having an effect on our sound for sure. And this just gives you a little more variety. And obviously this example is a pretty glitchy kind of, droney example, but if you just want your hands free to do other things now and play a lead line or do something else, you could achieve that. It's also just kind of fun to watch the lights dance as the things pass by that we've set up. From a practical standpoint, I could see making use of some of these ideas in an ambient live set, as this would add variety while keeping my hands free for other things, like that lead line I was just mentioning. Here's a bonus example where I will put a slicing effect on my vocal through channel 1 here via MIDI and the Deluge in automation view. See, I've added all these kind of extra little chops. And now I sound like this when I speak live through the mic. Hopefully this is kind of interesting. Either way, you can see some of the power that you can get by messing with automating MIDI parameters. Some caveats, of course. The L6 doesn't currently let you access all parameters via MIDI. For example, you can use the editor to adjust some settings for the onboard effects, but in terms of MIDI, all you can do is adjust the type, so the reverb or delay basically, or how much of each channel is being sent to the effects. So you can't even change, say, the master effects return level. Though the delay time is synced to the MIDI clock at least. So right now that'd be getting the tempo sent from the Deluge, which is just 120. Also, as I mentioned off the top, you don't have any MIDI control over the recorder or transport buttons. In any case, this is a fun way to glitch out your audio if you've already got a MIDI sequencer in your setup. I'm sure you could do this via a DAW too, connected to your L6 or your iPad, for instance, to your L6, if a computer or iPad is part of your workflow. Are you already using the MIDI on the L6 in this way? Any tips or tricks you'd like to share or things you want me to take a look at? Let me know in the comments. In any case, hopefully this was somewhat interesting. If you've already got an L6 or have been thinking about adding one to your setup, I'm still happy with mine despite some of the limitations, not all of which seem to be addressed in the Macs, by the way, but we can get into that another time. We'll see if I can think of any more interesting ways to use this little box. In the meantime, I'm supposed to ask you to subscribe and like this video if you found it interesting. So do that, I guess. But thanks for watching.